Hey, how's everyone doing? This is Roger from Roger's Hot Rod Garage here in Germany. Got a cold, blustery November day out here. We got 2023, and this is going to be a slightly different video. I'm not going to talk to you about the 914 LS3 project right around the corner there, or my 55 Nomad, also LS3 powered. But what I did here is I got this motor from a good friend of mine probably about a year ago for a little change. And it's obviously what's called a TPI Chevrolet motor. So TPI stands for tuned port injection. I think most people watching my channel figured that out already. 5.7 liter. What I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and run this number right here. This tells you basically what the motor is, when it was come off the assembly line, what it was in, and all this good stuff, along with a couple of other variables. I usually use this website. It's called Nasty Z28. And that's a pretty good source for figuring out what the engine came out of. But anyway, this is what is called center bolt right here. So that tells me this is kind of like a Vortec based motor. So that means 1986, 87 Vorwärts, or in the advance. So that basically means 90, 91, 92, 93, 95. This could be a 2000, I'm not quite sure. But the goal of this video right here is I'm going to take the TPI fuel injection off here. You can see the fuel injection rail up in here. Carefully take it off. I'm going to take the HEI off, also the high energy ignition, which by the way is one of the best things that Chevrolet ever came off. Everybody copies that or either tries to put it in their Fords and Chrysler products. Everything seems to be complete here. Nothing's really broken off. I did pressure wash it today outside, not to get any kind of grease off it, but just to get it a little bit cleaner, because I know it's a contradiction in terms, but I try to keep my hands clean when I'm working on car. Fuel injectors are actually in here, the injectors. So the goal is just to take everything off nice and neat. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here and figure out an intake manifold to put on it. And it might be this one here. This one's been sitting here quite a while. I picked this up at the Turkey Run, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's dry, clean, rebuilt. That looked really cool up on here. Or I got a couple of, aluminum intake manifolds here, and I know I gotta look whether the angle of the head and what it is, but I'll figure that one out. And if not, I've got the adjusting sets right here. So if you don't have the right center ones right here, you put these little clevises in here and they adjust the angle. Here's another bag right here, and there's the part number if you need it right there from Summit Racing or whoever you're gonna get it from. But like I said, I might put that tri setup with the Rochester 2Gs on here. And then what I'll do is I'll also have to convert it back over to mechanical fuel pump. And then I'll also take an oil pan, which I got up here. These are all from either Summit Racing or Moultrie, Georgia, wherever I get a good deal on them. And I got a couple of them up here. But then you got to look on left side, right side, and whether it's a one-piece rear main seal. Like I said, I got some valve covers up here, and I'll piece this thing together. I'll put one of these new mini starters on. That's not a mini starter, but there's one sitting right back there, and get rid of some of the parts I got piled up in here and put a motor together. And then I'll get myself one of these little engine dollies right down here, and I'll put it back here, and then I'll just sit it up against the back of the wall for no good reason. I don't know, I might flip one and try to sell one. Oh, by the way, those are some nice 914 Porsche doors I picked up for cheap. Pressure washed those today too. Only reason I'm telling you that is because I need this window, all the seals, the mechanisms right here, and I got these for literally 50 euros each, and I'm gonna put them obviously in here because I'm missing all the stuff up in here. But anyway, again, this is not about the 914 today. So anyway, goal right now is to take this intake manifold off, catalog everything, make sure I don't throw any screws away, and then I'll put this thing on eBay in Germany over here. Oh, by the way, I got the engine stand with it too, so that's pretty cool for a low price of. Not going to tell anybody. Hey, take care, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing right now and just turn down Chris Stapleton, because the background music really gets picked up here, and again, I don't want a copyright violation from the fine folks who run YouTube for me. But look, we're about 4 hours later. It's 10 o'clock at night here. I probably would have been done about 2.5 hours ago, but I had a couple of those intake manifold bolts that just gave me a hard time. So heat cycles, a little bit of spray, a little bit of tapping. But anyway, I got them all off, and this is basically it. I didn't ruin anything. It looks pretty good. Frankly, I don't know if anybody even wants stuff like this, so I don't even know if I'm going to waste my time and put this stuff on eBay, but basically it's complete. That looks like the original HEI distributor on here, but I'm going to go ahead and go to Summit Racing. Those things are like $70, $75 if you catch them on sale. There's all the injectors, fuel rail, of course. Again, I didn't booger anything up. It all came off in one piece. These are kind of good looking if that's what you're into, but what I've done now is I just threw a couple of valve covers on here that I had laying around. I know these are perimeter bolts. I need the center bolts, but you can also order those, but they also make a little adapter. So motor looks pretty clean inside, and it is a true roller motor. I found out by basically the intake manifold off. You can see that it's got the rollers in there. Don't know if I'm going to keep the Rochester 4Gs on here. I picked up this intake manifold at it was either Moultrie, Georgia, or Turkey Run, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But it looks cool. But you know, the fact of the matter remains, the Demon 625 carburetor is what I prefer to use because it is just maintenance free, and you put that thing on and the thing runs absolutely flawless. Okay, and same thing on the other side. These are actually stainless steel headers. They're shorties. You get them from Summit Racing. Now, I know they're made in China or Pakistan or wherever puts these things together, but actually it's got a pretty good flange on here. It looks like it's more than 3/8 of an inch. It might even be a 1/2 inch flange. That's important for sealing. But look, it comes with everything. You got your collector gaskets. These things, look, everything's pretty well TIG welded too. So I've used these in the past. They're pretty good. I really frankly don't care whether this is only 2 inches or what is that? Yes, about 2 inches. I'm not looking for horsepower here, but look, for $190, I think is what it costs. You get all the hardware, and some dude took the time and TIG welded all the interiors on a thing. So anyway, aluminum heads, they're GM Performance heads. And then, okay, all this right here, I'll just go ahead and take off. I'll gloss black all this stuff in here before I bolt everything up, and then just make for the aesthetics of it. I might put the mechanical fuel pump back in here just because. And of course, these are coming off right here, and I'm going to put it in one of my little roll around cradle mounts and just put my collection of motors back there in the corner. But this actually looks pretty good. If I throw this on here, it looks kind of cool too. Of course, I'd have to home make myself a little bottom mount, but that actually looks pretty decent. And then these right here really, really look good on here. And I'll give you an example here. I'll take one off here. This looks like old school stuff right here. Check this out. And again, that looks pretty cool. Anyway, it's a high performance 5.7 liter. I got to run the numbers on it. Hopefully this isn't one of those got no compression motors, but I'll figure it out. Single piece rear main seal. And then, like I said, tomorrow, if I get a little bit of time, I'll go ahead and take off the oil pan, drain the oil out of it, and put one of those aluminum pans on that I got in the back. Anyway, that's it from Roger's Hot Rod Garage. It's still Saturday night. Got about 2 hours to go, but look, the hands are still clean. I did wash them, but I like stuff like this. It's cool. It's nice and warm in here, and we got about close to freezing outside and raining, but that's it right now. I'll stop talking, and if I think about anything on Sunday morning, I'll go ahead and crank up the video again and say bye. But this is just Roger's Hot Rod Garage. Roger, of course. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, so it is Sunday morning right here. A couple of afterthoughts right here. So probably spent about 2 hours today out here just cleaning it up a little bit. Got all this stuff pulled off the front right here, the water pump, like I said I was going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pull the timing cover off, check the slack on the chain to see if it needs replacing. This looks like it's in good shape right now, but anyway, I had that serpentine belt stuff on there. I'm going to replace it all with the old traditional V-belt type stuff. Got everything up in here cleaned off, and let me show you what I do here. Whether you want to do this or not, it's up to you. See all these rough edges right here? I actually just go in here with a grinder and a flappy wheel and round everything up. Same thing, cleaning all this stuff right here. Same thing, this has got like this curve right down here. This little edge right here, you can basically, if you run your by here, you cut your finger off of here. So I just round this thing off before I put black paint on it. Right here, I went ahead and pulled this out. I believe this was for the water outlet to actually do the cooling over here. Got this side cleaned up pretty good. And let me show you this other side real quick. The knock sensor, which is right here, also sits right here. I went ahead and pulled that out, and I'll just give myself a little brass plug and plug the thing up. Now you see water coming out of it right now? no big deal. That's what's supposed to be coming out here. I did drain the oil in this thing. Absolutely super clean oil in it, so stoked about that. And again, dressing it up on the corners right here. I'm going to flat black this, or actually gloss black it with that high heat. I think VHT sells that stuff. But it turned out pretty good, so it's just a matter of buttoning it up right now. I'll tape this up right here. Hit this with the green emery cloth right here, so they look pretty decent. Like I said, I'll pull this off here. I'll pull the harmonic balancer, go ahead and replace the front main seal. I'm going to go ahead and put a aluminum valve or aluminum oil pan on the bottom of it. Got that laying in the back. And then when I have this thing mounted separately, and I'm repeating myself here, I'm going to go ahead and replace the one-piece rear main seal since I'm back here and the engine is out. So anyway, so that's it. I'll close it off from Roger's Hot Rod Garage here on a Sunday. Again, the weather's beautiful, and I'm glad I got old manuals like this, because you can read on the internet, but old school tells you exactly how to do it in case you're ever lost in here. A torque wrench and everything's adjusted right here. So basically this is the bounty of everything I've been taking apart for the last, I think cumulative, about 6 hours total to get it to this point right here. And again, I'm not going to rebuild this engine. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up, check oil pressure, check compression, and then go from there. It'd be a nice little motor to put into an old Corvette or something. Anyway, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, so check this out. These little tips right here that I just sliced off of here, off of this bolt and off of this bolt right here, are what's holding in your traditional oil, you know, where your oil canister where you screw on the line. So those are your typical PH30s. Those are Chevy small block oil filters. I did figure this out right here, because when I took off the little rubber hose that was running from here to here, this is nothing more than when the engine is cold, the first thing it's going to heat up is the water, and then this heats up the oil. So it just zips it around in here and heats it up, because you see all the coolant down there, the green coolant? It wasn't mixed in with the oil, it's separated, but it's just a little heater thing. So the thing is this is your bottom piece right here. This is identified typical, I got these as kits where you can convert over from the old canister style to this kit. And once I saw this, I can actually take this. If you notice, these bolt holes, they go right here, except they were sticking out too far. The idea is to get these lower, like that right there, and that way I can screw on the oil filter right here. Now the reason I know that is because I got a whole bunch of these kits back, not a whole bunch, 2 or 3 of them. So this right here is what you actually screw on in replacing the old canisters on the pre-59, pre-60 motors when they got the canister and you want to go on the element type. So I know I've got that, and that's where I came up with the idea. And if you notice, those bolts right there are flat. Now, could I put a new bolt in there? I sure could have, but it's a certain length. It's coarse thread, and these are all fine thread right here. So look, I just hacked this off. This is not going to hurt anything. I'll put it back down here. There's no gasket that goes in here. I will run a little bit of cleaner through here. There's your check ball in there, where there's your pressure relief. You see it right there? And that's basically it. So, right tool for the right job, and this is my little kit. It's actually a nice one. It's got the actual ball bearing. So this is your harmonic balancer puller installer. Still takes a while to get off of there, but it works. It's easier after a second here. So basically this is the only thing I'm doing. As you can see, I'm pulling it off right down here. About 3 or 4 more little cycles here. There it is. And there's no way in hell you're gonna get that off if you don't have the right tool. So this is basically it. Keyway's on the top, and that's about it. All right, this is the typical. So everybody knows this mark right here and this mark right here if you're doing the timing chain, but check this out. So I pulled the cover off, way too much slack, so this thing's gonna be replaced. Going with a double roller right here. That's what that looks like. And a pretty simple install. All right, here's my little construction right here. This actually works quite well. It's already popped off of there. It's actually a steering wheel puller. I don't have the exact grabbing tool for this one, but this one works perfectly fine. All right, so what I do right here is before I get started, let me show you this. See this right here? That's the mark. And I went ahead and put a mark on this one right here because if you've got 3 keyways on here instead of 1, well, which one do you use? So you basically can put it on here and you can tell that one is exactly upside down right now or straight up and down. So that's the one I want to use right now. But to get it on there just a little bit further so you don't have to beat the crap out of it, I use this little trick right here. I just heat it up just a little bit, not much. And that'll change it, I don't know, whatever a 1/100th of a 16th of an inch is or a millimeter. And you notice it goes right on there. Now on the other side, I went ahead and put a little grease on the actual crank. And the only thing you gotta make sure now is you don't have any burrs on here. And because I ain't dumb, I got my glove on right here. This thing is kinda hot, even with that little bit on there. If you notice, it almost goes up on there right now. And that was the GoPro falling. And then you take this right here, which is all it is like a, I don't know, 1 and 13/16, almost 2 inches. Make sure I got plenty of room in here. And you'll notice that there's a different tone to it, a different sound. And that's when you know you've driven it home. So anyway, so the bottom piece is on there, the keyway still in there. I'll put the other keyway in for the actual harmonic balancer. Put this up here and that'll be complete. That's only about 20 minutes, so that's not a bad deal. So this is just a little fun stuff. So I got a layer of VHT gloss black paint on here. I'll clean the surface off a little bit. And this right here is actually the knock sensor. And if you go to the local hardware store in the plumbing department, they got these nice little brass fittings that you can put on. All right, glitch in the matrix. After I bolted that thing in here, I fast forwarded exactly 48 hours or 2 days because the battery ran out on the GoPro camera that I'm filming with right now. So there's the motor. I'm gonna close this thing out. You gotta listen to me talk like 2 or 3 more minutes. I went ahead and picked up the rear main seal here locally in Germany. There's a company called Mike and Frank's, and they sell US car parts primarily. They can order them for you, but a simple part like this, seals, they had that in stock. You pay slightly more for it over here in Germany just because you've got the import tax and you've got the sales tax on it, which over here in Germany is 19%, plus about 10% import tax, 30% more, but you know what? They delivered to me. It's 20 minutes from my house, so I'm not complaining about that. Anyway, motor's done, not necessarily complete right now. I went ahead and did the aluminum timing cover on it. I went ahead and got a new sprocket up and down. You saw that, I put that on in about, what, 15 minutes ago. I'll press on the harmonic balancer. I cleaned this up, a little brake cleaner, a little bit of sanding on it, but it's perfectly clean. I'll press that back on it with my harmonic balancer install tool. In the back, I found underneath a whole bunch of stuff, a dusty but brand new Chevy small block water pump, nice and tight, weep hole, we talked about that earlier. Little tip, if you want to listen to it, you can just disregard if you want to. I always get a little plastic bag, Ziploc bag like this, put a little label on it. This is a 5.7 L98 TPI motor, and every part I put on it, I'll cut out from the box, put a little note on it, the date, and then slip it in the box, and that way I can keep that bag with that motor in the back. For example, right here, I'll just take a pair of scissors, cut this out right here, put a little note on it, and go from there. But look, there it is right there. I'll show you a little trick I use over here too. What I didn't know, but I know now, these are SA plugs. You can pick them up from like the local hardware store. You guys call it, you know, Home Depot, Lowe's. Over here, it's called Bauhaus, same actual company. Little brass plugs. Puts a little bling bling. That's the same thing I just showed you over here. And these right here are stainless steel plugs. Again, the size is SAE, so it's American inch instead of metric over here. Why all the piping over here is done, you can probably do a research project on that and figure it out, but frankly, I don't care. I just know that's the way it is. I think I got some down here. No, those are just hose clamps. But anyway, long story short, this thing is on here. I've got the oil pan just kind of like mock bolted up on here. I'll do this tomorrow during Thanksgiving. Put the rear main seal on. And then once I do that, I'll put a little bling bling paint on the back of this thing, paint it up. And then once that's on the rear main seal, I'll go ahead and seal up the bottom and use the actual old seal on here. Nothing wrong with these things. These things are probably the best thing they did for sealing oil pans. Right around the corner right here, add a little bit of silicone in this corner right here, and the thing is absolutely sealed up tight. Again, nothing wrong with using these things. And then that's about it. So look, Roger here from Roger's Hot Rod Garage. Probably been talking a little bit too long right now. Like, subscribe, share if you want to, because I'm this close to meeting the magic watch to aggregate hours that YouTube calls it, so I can get a little bit of change in revenues out of my YouTube channel. That's not what I do it for, but that could be a bonus right now. So hey, thanks for watching. Take care. And I don't know what I do with these motors. I'm just going to put it on the roller stand, roll it to the back, and eventually some project, some pickup truck, some hot rod, that motor along with the 2 or 3 that I've already built back here and haven't sold. Here we go for the lights. Do that. So I got a flatty here, 2 here, and then a couple more project motors over here. And this one is the one that I picked up a while back, probably about 2 years ago. I got it on one of these stands right here, so that'll be the next one. So anyway, take care from Roger's Hot Rod Garage. Thanks for watching and not clicking me away. Bye-bye. Thank you.